The Galari sculpted stars. Not figuratively, not with bronze or crystal or poetic words. They literally carved stars. Their ships, each a gleaming lattice of gravitational tools and quantum blades, could slice solar plasma like a sculptor shaping clay. To them, stars were malleable, adjustable, rearranged into perfection. They called it the stellar canopy, rows of stellar monuments aligned across galaxies, each radiating a precise hue and harmonic frequency. Entire constellations bent to their aesthetic logic. Pulsars repositioned to form symmetrical rhythms. Dying suns reignited solely to maintain chromatic harmony. The Galari were ancient, refined. They believed beauty was control, that creation was mastery, that the universe should reflect their taste, their precision. Then humans arrived, and ruined everything, not through war, but through color. The first offense came from a vessel, a humble, battered exploration craft tumbling erratically through Sector Q-17. Its human crew was mapping dark space anomalies. But to the Galari they were vandals, because trailing behind the ship was a comet, painted, in broad streaks of phosphorescent pigment, shifting, glowing, alive. The Galari Interstellar Aesthetic Council was appalled. They summoned the humans, demanded explanation. Captain Alira Shaw grinned. It was just for fun. We call it sky graffiti. You defaced a celestial body, a Galari elder said. We celebrated it, Alira corrected. You carve stars, we paint the void. The council was silent. The humans were expelled from Galari territory. But the comet remained. And others saw it. A Vernai trader captured images, fluid arcs of vibrant trailwork, glowing against a nebula's edge. It began to circulate, at first as mockery, then curiosity, then reverence. Human art spread, unbidden, unlicensed, unpredictable. They painted asteroid fields in swirling mosaics, laced radiation trails with kinetic sculpture. One rogue team sculpted magnetic arcs between passing moons, creating symphonies in plasma storms. The Galari couldn't contain it. They tried. Laws were passed. Patrols dispatched. But how do you arrest joy? The worst offense, according to the archives, occurred at the Silent Crown, a revered stellar formation shaped over 3 millennia by Galari engineers. Perfect, untouched, sacred, until humans launched the Comet Ballet. 17 synchronized comets, each laced with biodegradable light ribbons and controlled bursts, danced through the crown like brushstrokes on fire. It lasted 3 hours. The recording went viral across 600 systems. The Galari filed a universal injunction. But something shifted. A young Galari artisan named Vel, a quiet architect of solar curvature, watched the recording 100 times. Then 100 more. He couldn't stop thinking about it, not the disobedience, but the feeling. Wonder. Unscripted. Uncontained. He left the archive temples the next day, and sought out a human named Mara Song. Mara lived aboard a nomadic freighter called Canvas. She wasn't military. She wasn't sanctioned. She didn't even have proper licenses. But her ship painted in wavelengths no one had names for. When Vel approached her, he offered no greeting, only a question. Will you show me how to make a comet dance? Mara smiled. Only if you bring your own brush. Vel stayed aboard for months. He learned about chaos, not as destruction, but as invitation. He learned about imperfection, not as flaw, but fingerprint. Together, they redirected ice fragments, sculpted color storms in low gravity, taught satellites to hum in harmony. Mara didn't lead. Vel didn't follow. They created, together. In tension. In laughter. When Vel returned home, he brought with him something no Galari had ever seen. A star that shimmered offbeat. He'd modified one of the sacred singers, stars tuned to emit precise tonal frequencies used in Galari meditation. But it sang wrong. It pulsed unevenly. It dipped into unexpected tones. It wept, then giggled, then screamed beauty. The High Council demanded it be corrected. Instead, Vel let it sing louder. And something broke open. Other young Galari followed. Quietly at first. Then boldly. They began painting with radiation trails, embedding emotion into the curvature of stellar flame. Not erasing tradition, but remixing it. A new movement formed, the Flame Brush Accord. Its members were Galari and human, and dozens of species between. They didn't ask for permission. They offered invitations. Soon, entire regions of space pulsed with interactive installations, asteroid ballets that responded to thought, stardust sculptures that changed with time, nova clouds rewritten daily by anyone who whispered to them. Mara and Vel became symbols, not as masters, but as partners. One taught the other freedom. The other taught the first focus. Their most famous collaboration was the spiral laugh. It began as a whisper, data encoded in comet tails, arranged across parsecs, viewable only from a precise angle between two black holes. The pattern, when seen, triggered no audible sound, but caused any observing consciousness to interpret it as uncontrollable joy. Thousands traveled to find that angle, to see that laugh, and every witness said the same thing. I didn't know stars could giggle. The Galari never fully surrendered control. But they did something rarer. They changed. Their temples opened galleries. Their star carvers joined mixed-species collectives. And they added a new section to the stellar canopy, a segment left deliberately imperfect. Open. Unfinished. It was called the Wavelength Wilds. And every being, child or ancient, human or Galari, was welcome to leave a mark. One evening, as Vel and Mara drifted above a nebula spun in ultraviolet calligraphy, he asked her, "Do you think beauty was always meant to be static?" "No," she said, watching a dust cloud bloom like ink in water. "I think beauty's a question. And who answers it?" She shrugged. "We all do. Together." Far below, a group of children launched their first comet. It stuttered, wobbled, danced badly, and painted joy across the dark.